Adam Elliott obviously didn't make the squad this week.
No.
How's he sort of tracking?
Yoey, yeah, he was close. He trained not fully though. So he got through training and just didn't feel confident. So it was a 50-50 call, but just his history. And quite often we go off what Yoey's feeling. So we're going to give him another week. So he should fully train next week and hopefully be available against Adelaide.
Is there a temptation maybe not to take him to Adelaide as well, considering you've got the 2 home games and the bye straight after that, so you can sort of give him a good run to the back half of the season?
No, the temptation is to play him tomorrow, Sunday. So no, I think we'll just play it as it is. We're not going to put him in any more or less risk than what he's already in. So if he's right to play and he puts his hand up, then he'll play.
Did you ever get a sort of official diagnosis of Jeremy and how it's going and how he's going?
No, not official. That it's for the public consumption. He's got a knock in around his organs. So I think those he's had them before. Actually, he's pretty brave. So we just had to make sure that all settled really well, and it was more precautionary than anything. The hospital visit. So as much as he wanted to play, it was just too much of a risk last weekend. But he pulled up really well. Like he was pain free pretty much on the plane.
So instinctual with that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it's not the first time he's done it. Do you ever have to feel like you say to him, Jeremy, don't do that?
A little bit. Barras is the same. It's when they get underneath the ball and they go back with the flight, they just don't take their eyes off the play, which is something you'd love every player to do. But there's certain times where you just hope for the best. So that's why they're very good players, I suppose.
What about in terms of this week? I heard you during the week say that Melbourne midfield are predictable, which is true with the way they go about their contest work. How do you stop that predictability though?
Well, that's the challenge every week. I mean, it's not just their midfield. They're a premiership contender, aren't they? So, and their availability is always pretty good. So that the 4 guys they have through the middle are all A-plus players. So when I say predictable, that's not a disrespectful term. They're predictably good in what they do with their craft and their contest. So when we're good in that space, we perform quite well. And when we're poor, we've been struggling. So that's going to be a major part of the game.
You just seem so irreplaceable.
Yeah.
What did you learn last week, and what can you put into place this week to try to?
Yeah, I know Yo was obviously part of the issues of not having you available. We just got to, where we're at the moment, we do rely on our good players being available and playing, but you want to get to a point where if you lose a player, you can cover it. So we may not be quite there just yet. So we learned a lot throughout the game. We got better as the game went. Second half around the centre bounce stuff was a lot better, but it just took us too long to get that right. And it's just good learning for our younger players.
And the supply issue, I guess, for the forwards, how frustrating is it for them just not even getting those looks, and what can you do to change that as well?
Well, it's probably 3 weeks in a row now where we've been a bit down on inside 50s, and it was a goal of ours at the start of the year to get more supply. So, and that really, stoppages are a part of that. So we've got to get that right, to get the supply right, to get the way we want to play right. We've been pretty good around the contest and general play, ground balls, and the football talk that I've been banging on about. But when we're not good in that area, it becomes difficult for us at the moment. So that's just where we're at.
Supply, they've got the May-Lever combo, but you've got Jake back. So how do you approach in sub-50s when those two are down there?
Yeah, there's a few ways you can go about it with a side like Melbourne. You can strategically try and do things, whether you run with one of the players, whether you change angles, you enter inside 50, or you kick along the ground, all those type of things. We're probably not in that space at the moment. We're in just trying to get our identity as best we can. It'd be great if it was an issue that we're getting it in there, we can't convert. And we've got some levers we can pull, but we keep the game pretty simple at the moment.
Trying to combat Max Gawn, it's a different story to most ruckmen.
Yeah.
And Bailey's, like we said numerous times, has been really admirable in his fight, but had a couple of rough weeks. How do you sort of go about that?
Yeah, that's a big challenge for us. Bailey's been he's been fighting above his weight division probably for since he's been in the ruck. So Flynn will come back in the next couple of weeks, so that's a good opportunity for him to play. But at the moment, Bailey's just going to do his best and compete as hard as he can and try and make it a neutral contest. But Max is probably the best ruck in the league at the moment, so we're not delusional. There's going to be some issues there.
The way he jumps into him, moves in, is there any ways you guys look at it with Ryan to try and nullify him the best?
I'm not going to tell you what he's going to do, but every week it's a little game of chess, the ruck battle. So whether it's it doesn't matter what ruck it is. There's things you do that you can do to change the way the hit outs are done, or they do to you. That every week that battle's still part of coaching and developing as a ruck going forward for Bailey. But Max has probably experienced everything to try and stop him. So he's got what he's got is plan B, C, and D. So that's why he's hard to stop.
This last night on Adam's show, but the travel stuff that's come up through the week, and Victorian clubs thinking it's not a big issue because you've got 12 business class seats, but actually you've only got 8. You've been it as a player, as a coach, both there and here. Can you explain what that challenge is, that travel every second week for players, and how it does affect them compared to maybe a Victorian player?
It's just interesting. I mean, I don't know how this come up. I don't know what the backstory of all this is about equalising the competition, something like that. So I think every time someone comments on their own club about some of the inequities that you deal with, if it gets aired out through the media, it comes across as complaining. So I just don't think it's worth me getting involved because everyone knows what we deal with where we are and what we do, and you guys see it. So I don't think I need to justify how hard or easy it is, and we'll just let the AFL deal with the requests from every club, and then they'll make a decision to try and make the game as even as you can, which you just can't. So there's little things we can do here and there that we'd like to see, but I don't think this is the forum to be expressing it. Sorry.
Just in terms of other team changes,
we'll bring in Jermaine Jones this week. He'll come in, for Harvey, and obviously we've lost Petch, so we're a bit unders with our half forwards, so he might play in the front half and help bring a bit of pressure. Outside of that, I don't think there's too many other changes. Waterman comes in, and we'll work on the rest of who the sub is in the next 24 hours.
With them in mind, you look to play him across half-back, so you did pretty well there in the Waffle.
Yeah, we spoke about it at three-quarter time, and we're going to do it. And then he hit the first goal, I think, in the first minute. So then I was like, okay, well, And he played. I thought his second half, we just started to see signs of improvement. So it's funny. 2 years ago, if you had said, "Oh, you're going to play later on down back," I thought, no way. So I think it's a good plan B for us, and we'll definitely do it at some stage. But he's an all-Australian forward, so he's just been out for so long. So that confidence and getting used to the rhythm of the game is, just taking time. So hopefully it clicks this week.
Jermaine, he's been on the fringe of the side for most of this season. What is it that he's got to do or show to sort of nail down a spot?
Yeah, there's a few things that you'll clearly see that we want him to work on, and there's a few things that you don't see. So consistency is probably the main thing, to be honest. We've had him as a running back before, and he come as a forward as well. So we've got the flexibility to do both of them. And at his best, he's good enough. So it's just probably consistency more than anything.
What will you do? Giving Jai Cully a run?
Yeah, he's in the squad. Absolutely. Yeah, he's not far. We put him back in the midfield on the weekend at Waffle. It's hard to play as a forward at the moment in our side at Waffle Eagles. So it just got that intensity back and the pressure around the ball. So, but he's played one solid game as a midfielder. So, he just needs to give us a couple more.
When he comes back in the AFL side, where he
sure,
plays.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's hard for us at the moment, the Waffle Eagles, when we don't have great days, to see how our forwards go. So it's a bit unfair to judge our young forwards at Waffle at the moment. So that's why it's hard to judge where they play when they come to seniors. So we played Dewar last week. He had a reasonable performance at Waffle level, and I think Jai can do both.
About the stadium, the first step you said in the rebuild is establishing,
your
home base. Against Melbourne, they've been pretty good there the last few years. Obviously, won a grand final there really well. How do you combat them at Optus Stadium? They seem to like playing there.
Well, we need to get 50,000 there. That's the first bit. So Doug Nicholls round, really important round for all of us, but in particular our club. I said this before. The form normally in these rebuilds starts at home. So, and I think with where we play and who we are, it's really important that we perform well in our home games, and I think we have for most of the year. So that's our goal this week. Albeit they're a very good side.
Off if Petrarca goes forward.
Maybe. We're not sitting in match committee here, but there's things we'll do that you can't cover everyone. That's probably what you learn when you play in Melbourne. There's too many. There's too many great players. So I think we'll just play our way as best we can, compete as hard as we can, and you never know.
Back on the home crowd stuff, how much better are you guys as a side when you're feeding off that energy? Because it seems like the start different.
It's got better. I feel like the connection between our players and our supporters has just gone up a level. I mean, obviously we saw it back in the day when we first started at Optus, and it's a new stadium still. But I feel like that connection's sort of back again. So, and I'm sure it's based on effort and intensity and some of our youth coming through as well. But yeah, the connection with our crowd, you can sort of feel it. It just feels a bit different. So, and we've got a responsibility to play our best. But we really appreciate that crowd.